Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm very happy to have a total stranger in the back, and his name is Eli, and Eli is actually a motivational speaker, and he's worked with some of the top motivational speakers probably in the world. Who is the top motivational speaker in the world? What would you say?
Tony Robbins considered it, but he hates that. He hates the term Tony motivational speaker.
Oh, does he? What does he think? It's life coach or
a strategist? But now he's more like businesses. Because people like Oprah or President of the United States, they're already motivated. Michael Jordan already motivated.
Right.
So it's more. It's not about motivation. It's about strategies to take it to the next level. And typically, the people that come to an event like his, people that are really down and out, are the people that are at the very top and they want more.
Okay. Well, I had an older gentleman. Most of my advice is for the younger people because, in my opinion, most people don't get how important every day is and life is, or how short life is. Until they hit 50 years old, or travel extensively, or experience death in their life, and family or friends, what have you. So my mission is to tell people, that I was orphaned at 9 years old. Okay, and I hitchhiked around the world for my education at 17. So I was very lucky to get a pretty good education early. Okay, reduce this media here. And so I'm on a mission to open up people's eyes to show how important life is. So one of my statements is to be fantastic, which I explained to you, how important that is, how it's going to make you live longer, it's going to make you happier every time you say it, and make other people happy. And it's about karma. When you say you're fantastic to people, even if you're feeling lousy, and some people say fake it till you make it, but let's say you're feeling really shitty one day, and I'll tell you a story about that later, and you say you're fantastic. Well, the millennials say, well, you're being disingenuous, or you're lying. Well, that's a great lie. If you lie and tell people you're fantastic when you're not, what happened? It forced you to smile, which released the endorphins, which made you feel better, but it made the other person feel good. So don't just think about yourself, because a fantastic person, and you're going to be one by the time I'm done with you, and you're already really one, but you did say great instead of fantastic, is one that's going to let someone in traffic. Wouldn't that be a novel approach? We live in a selfish, greedy, litigious society, and I'm on a mission to open it up to where people can think about others. Be nice to others.
I love it.
Open the door for others. Say thank you. Be nice. This lady was in the car. She said, what I was told when I come to Los Angeles, don't use your turn signals.
Use the second from the right lane to take
and she's right. Because she was told that no one will let you in. See, it's what it is we're living in our little cubicles, and we're ignoring the world because all that matters is our world. That car, if it was my buddy, I'd let him in a heartbeat. But because I don't know him, I'm not going to let him in. But when you do let someone into traffic, you feel great. And I bet you they feel great, right? And that's called paying it forward. So I'm going to give you a card right now. It's an invitation to be fantastic. And when you become fantastic, you give that card to someone else to invite them to be fantastic. Right? Now, that's enough about being fantastic. I want to hear your fantastic life. You traveled, you said, for 14 years?
Off and on since 2005.
That's what a great book that is, if you haven't written that yet.
Head east on California 90 East, then use the second from the right lane to take exit 2.
It's been 80% written for quite a while.
In a quarter mile, merge onto I-405 South.
They dig it. So, but I'm going to self-publish. One of the companies I coach self-publishing school.
Good.
Chandler Bolt's company is going to help me out with this.
I'm a published author.
Oh, nice.
I think I've sold 3 copies so far. 2 of which I bought. No, I've sold a few of them, but I don't push anything. I believe a life is like a or any project or anything you're working on. It's like a piece of cake. I can't convince you it's delicious. You have to eat it for yourself and say, oh, this is delicious cake. And that's writing. I love interviewing writers because it's all about the writing, whether it's a commercial, a movie, a television series, or a book. It's the writing, and that writing is like oil on water. It floats to the top, and you don't have to put a fancy name on it or a pretty book, but people will resonate with it if it's good, right?
Yep. We're going south.
We're going south, yeah. You want to go south? Said,
keeps on telling us to turn around.
Where are we going, by the way?
Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
so
GPS keeps on taking us. It keeps on telling us.
It said go south on 405, but I'll turn left here. I'll get you there.
Yeah.
It's 27 minutes. Are you late?
No, well, I will have to hop on the conference closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so go ahead, tell us about your book and your movement?
You know, it's my. I worked on the road with Tony Robbins for a few years, and then I got back to LA and I got back into acting and had some success. And before I know it, like I'm on a billboard in Times Square, and I'm booking some shows. But I got really sick. I got a parasite, and nearly died. And Tony paid my hospital bills and took care of me and basically saved my life. And then in 2010, I came back to work for him, and I worked half the week, and I laid in a bed or a hospital bed the other half the week. And despite working half as much as everybody else in the company, I was still the top salesperson. And I turned around my life, and so people started asking me, like, how'd you do that? Well, first I had a really good coach, but I implemented systems and a lot of stuff that Tony taught on energy and kind of the metaphysical stuff, but also mindset and some very practical stuff around cutting certain people, foods, processes out of my life. And I had to really embrace that statement that everything's energy, and I didn't have much of it, so I got really good at systematizing and understanding my energy. And I created this book. It's called Thin, which stands for Transforming Human Nature. We live in a consumer society, and things we consume end up consuming us, our time, our energy, our money. And so Thin is a way to become not a consumer of things, but a producer of things and what really matters. So it's very practical advice for people that want to turn around their life.
That's wonderful. And when you're talking about the sickness, I really encourage you to listen to some of my podcasts, because we've had, through my quantum physicist co-host, he's been in touch for the last 20 years with the most incredible minds. He's probably one of the top minds in the world. And basically, we had Augie Nost on last week. Yeah. And Augie, I don't know, have you heard of Augie Nost?
I'm not.
He introduced us to these two Nobel, well, he told us about these two Nobel Prize winners that have discovered the secret to aging. And you're not going to hear about that. Think about it. No one's going to tell you about this, because the government certainly doesn't want people living to 200 years old. Recently, a guy in China lived to 256 years old, and he only died because he fell and had an accident. Now, it's got to do with your telomeres. As we get older, our telomeres unravel.
I have a telomere product that I sell on Amazon.
So you know about telomeres.
All about it.
Now, what's your alkalinity level? How are you keeping it? What's your alkalinity level?
I ate a ton. Not last week, the week before.
Yeah.
I did the carnivore diet where I only ate about 2 pounds of red meat a day. So I'm very acidic.
Oh, you know that diseases breed in acidic environments. They cannot live in an oxygenated or alkaline. Now, if you want to get rid of cancer immediately, all you have to do is drink sodium bicarbonate, or I think that's what it's called. It's on one of my podcasts. At any rate,
I just ate a burger.
You just eat a burger.
I eat massive amounts of red meat.
Well, you got to be alkaline. You got to drink alkaline water, and you got to get yourself alkaline.
Water filter.
But you're right, though. It is about the mind. If you don't see, we're not designed to die. We weren't designed to die.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, every one of these inventions on the road has built-in obsolescence, because you don't want to build a car that lasts forever, or a washing machine, or a backyard barbecue grill. They're built to last an exact amount of time.
Yeah.
I worked for a tire retreader. Again, I've had 79 careers. One was as an electrical engineer for the largest tire retreader in the world. I was 17 years old. I told them I had a college degree, and I'm a jack of all trades from my foster parents. He taught me all the trades. And basically, they hired me, and I did the job, and it was great. But what I learned from that job, and I like to learn from everybody I meet and everything I do, is that they had a rubber that never wore out. Hundreds of thousands of miles on the road, in the field. And so then that was well, I don't know what you call it, but that was the core, let's say. Then, now, as you know, you could buy a tire that lasts 10,000, 20, 40, or 80. So what they do is they put material in the rubber to wear out. So it'll last however it's designed to last. And that's called built-in obsolescence. Did you know that the first light bulb ever invented is still burning?
I find that hard to believe.
It's in the Smithsonian Institute. It wasn't designed to wear out, but they do build light bulbs now to wear out, because it's not practical to sell one, or you would go out of business.
Yeah.
That's called built-in obsolescence, and every product you know of has that.
Well, rubber, for example, though, once it hits the road, I mean, it wears out a little bit.
Because they put materials in the rubber that wear the rubber out.
Well, things wear out, though. I mean, the wind, I mean, you look at like a piece of wood which is natural.
Right.
The ocean hits it, and
right.
then, it wears out, just like a pier.
Right, natural products do wear out. But rubber, again, I worked for the largest tire retreader in the world. Yeah. I'm talking from experience. It's like when UFOs. If you see a UFO, you're going to speak more more education, more educated on it, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen UFOs? I love UFOs, by the way.
Unidentified flying objects.
Yeah. Or aliens. Do you believe in aliens?
There's something out there, but when you look at the science, these things are so far away.
Well, Monday, we're having Michael Horn, who's the publicist for Billy Meyer, on our podcast at 2 p.m. live.
Nice.
And Billy Meyer is one of the most documented cases of abduction and UFO experts in the world.
Did they probe it?
They probed them. I don't know a whole lot about Billy, but I'm going to learn that on Monday.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be our guest on Monday. But we do have some very interesting people that we've already interviewed that, off the chart interesting. But like I say, we're bringing, with you, again, we're bringing information that people don't know about to improve your mind, your body, and the planet. And you obviously are working on the mind and the body because you learned, being sick, you learned how to improve, your health, I guess, right? So tell me more about your product, and you have a shout out for your website and Facebook. It's
Wild Influence is my the brand. WILDE, like Oscar Wilde.
Okay.
Wild Influence.
Is that your last name?
My real last name is Eli Wilde is my real name.
Oh.
I changed it to Wild. Just on Facebook. I was getting so many people reaching out to me that I changed it to kind of Hyde. Oddly enough, but I kind of like the name.
No, it's a very nice name.
Yeah, Wild. But my real last name is Will Hyde, but on social
That's a
media,
great name
Wild.
too.
Yeah,
Both are good. Both good
Eli
names.
Will Hyde.
I didn't know what my last name was or my name was till I was orphaned. I thought my name was Monty Richer till my parents died, and then I learned it was Lester Monta Cook III.
Lester Monta Cook III.
That's my real name, and I thought it was a pretty cool name. My son's the fourth, and he had a son recently, and he didn't name him the fifth, which I kind of a little pissed about. So we're going.
It's a great name.
So let me think. You have published the book, or it's
No, it's just been sitting there forever, so I've not published it. But
it's ready.
My friends got it. So a couple of my friends have a process where they guarantee you to get to bestseller.
Okay.
Based on how they launch it. So we'll do that.
Okay.
Process and market it. But these days,
audiobook might be the way to go.
yeah. Well, the whole most people, when they publish a book, they do it blindly. There has to be a clear intent, whether it's lead magnet, something inside where you drive somebody to a email list, you get their contact information, then you have upsells and affiliate marketing. Because I know people that have sold some good books, a good amount of books, but they've made millions of dollars off of it. Not off the book, but off the back sell. So you have to have a funnel and a process. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste of time. So you have to be intentional with it. Otherwise,
It all comes down to making money.
well, it's not just the money, but it's the impact. People buy cars and things like that. Businesses take money to run.
You need money to survive. That's no
it's the
question.
lifeblood of a business. It's the one part of the business. Like if you have a mission where you want to help people, the business doesn't survive unless there's money coming in.
Well, that's why I didn't start Be Fantastic to make money, but I'm noticing that if I'm going to continue with it, I'm definitely going to have to monetize it.
Market and advertise. It takes money to get out there, so it's got to be a mission-driven business. The mission can't be to make money,
Right.
But you need money,
Right.
So people don't buy what you do; they buy why you do what you do. So it's got to be whether you're recruiting people to work for you or people want to engage with your brand. There's got to be that strong why. Simon Sinek wrote that book, Start With Why.
So let me get back to the. I was going to tell you a story about how people respond to "How are you?" 3 people out of 2,000 so far getting in the car when I asked them how they were, without hearing my Be Fantastic speech, just by me asking them how they are, they said they're fan-fucking-tastic. Right?
Yeah.
So that to me was incredible. The other night, 2 people in one night were fantastic, and one guy had just spent 6 hours in the drunk tank. He didn't get arrested, but you would think that you wouldn't be too fantastic just getting released out of the police station. But he said he was fantastic. 2 people in one night, which is very rare. But one lady got in, one girl, about 30 years old. I said, "How are you?" She said, "I'm sad and lonely." So I told her, "Well, I've got good news for you, and I've got bad news for you. The bad news is, to quote the French philosopher René Descartes, he said, 'I think, therefore I am.' So by you saying you're sad and lonely, you're manifesting it, you're believing it, you're living it, you're sharing it, and you're going to be sad and lonely. Another thing is you're not going to make too many friends, especially when you say it to strangers, that you're sad and lonely. That's the bad news. Here's the good news.
Here's the thing, though, but Descartes in that statement, I think therefore I am, began the madness of humanity, where we identify with our thoughts, because we're not our thoughts. We can have thoughts, but that's not who we are. And so that's the trouble with people a lot, is that they identify with their thoughts.
Right. Let's just get off at Wilshire. So
yeah, we're not our thoughts. So
we are not our thoughts? Is that what you're saying?
No, of course not.
I think I totally disagree with that. I think, therefore I am. That's my mantra, because if I think I'm successful...
That is the most disproven statement of our century.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's
Okay, I'd love to hear this. I'd love hearing...
Read Eckhart Tolle's book, watch anything Oprah even. I mean, it's science and the mind, the body, it's like... It's the most disproven thought of our time, is that thought. And they make fun of it now. Yeah, you should do some research on that.
Well...
Our thoughts. Because you can thought it... Like, some people have a thought.
Okay, if you think you're happy, are you happy?
That's an emotion.
If you think you're successful, are you successful?
Well, here's the thing. Some people can have...
Like, I have millions of dollars, but I think I'm successful because I've accomplished everything I've ever tried to accomplish. Yeah. And I've done a lot of good. I've had a charity for veterans and what have you. So some people may say I'm not successful because I'm driving a lift, but I don't have to drive a lift, but I enjoy driving a lift, and I enjoy everything I do every day. So am I successful? What defines success? Certainly not money. Does happiness define success, in your opinion?
One thing creates happiness, and it's progress. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And when people, in nature, there's a law of nature, things either grow or die. Plants grow or die. And we're either growing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, where we got this progressive realization of a worthy ideal, as they say. Mm-hmm. And there's a growth inside of a human being that makes them feel alive. And without that constant growth and contribution, spiritually we're not alive. But we have human needs, a sense of certainty, a sense of love and connection, a sense of adventure. So these are the needs inside of the human ego at the base level that makes a person feel successful. But the needs of the spirit are to grow and to contribute, and that's what makes somebody feel really alive and therefore successful.
Okay. Have you read the book The Four Agreements?
Of course.
Well, one of the things that it says, never take what people say about you personally, because people don't know you, and never make assumptions. That's two real big statements in that book, or agreements. And I've applied them, obviously, because it doesn't really matter what other people think of me. I know what I've done, I know what I can do, and I know what I'm doing. So I think I'm successful, but some people may not look at that. So again, I'm going to agree to disagree, because it may be laughed at, but I think it's what is reality? It's the Matrix. What is it's your mind is what reality is, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you think you're successful, happy, and a good person, then you are. So I'm a little confused as how that statement doesn't work out. And the great thing about this show that we're on right now is in over 500 interviews and over 60 podcasts, I've never done a second take. I've never done an edit. And I've never done a rehearsal. It's real conversations. And again, not everyone always agrees with me, especially the millennials. But this is the first time someone said, I think therefore I am, is not a proper statement. And so I'm going to do some research and see if that holds true. But you obviously have been doing it a lot longer than I have.
And all that means people years ago thought that, like white supremacy and, and they thought they were superior. Does that make them superior? No.
Correct.
So, the fact that somebody can have a thought and it not be true, so we need to question our own thinking sometimes. And so what is the thinker? What is the I that thinks? And what separates us from animals is that we can observe our thoughts. And a lot of thoughts in humanity have not been true.
That's true. It's very true.
Yeah, and that's what separates us from dogma and animals, and is like certain that's what makes the human spirit amazing. And so there's something out there beyond thought, beyond mind. It's the spirit, and so it gets quite spiritual. But what is that creates the plants and creates what designed the animals in our hearts and cells and all that? There's a consciousness there that is beyond thought. Thought is definitely a vibration. And if you read any of the law of attraction stuff, thoughts are things, and there's a vibration, there's an energy there, just like these EMFs and cell phones. There's a vibration there, and there's a consciousness that drives everything. But the universal spiritual, God consciousness is it's beyond thought.
Well, you're a lot smarter than me, so I'm going to bring in my co-host, who Thunder, the quantum physicist, to add to this, because when he gets above my pay grade, I need to bring in the big guns. And Eli, it's a pleasure to meet you. It really is. I love people that are doing good for others, because that's what's going to make the world a better place.
Always.
Hey, Mike.
Thunder, you are live on the show. I have a wonderful guest star, and he's talking above my pay grade. His name is Eli, and he's worked with...
I'm hopping on a Zoom call.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, yeah. Conference call at 1.
We have only... Oh.
Hey.
Well, just say hi to Eli and say bye. He's got to go jump on a conference call, but he's been working with Tony Robbins for many years, and he's a motivational speaker, and I guess he has to take a call, which is what he has to do. So maybe when he's done with it, we'll call you back. We have another 15 minutes in the car.
Perfect.
Bye. So Zoom is Sprecher Studio, I'm told. No, it is Ring Central, which we use a lot. Do you use Ring Central, Eli?
I think so.
Okay, so we need to enter, I guess, because you have to get on a call, right?
Yeah, I'm 10 minutes late.
Okay, Eli, thank you for joining the studio, and good luck with your Zoom call. Thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great day.